Greetings! Welcome back to Sean's Irish Whiskey Shelf, coming at you from the heart of the United States out here in the Midwest. And what I have for you today are three whiskeys that we haven't looked at. They've been on the shelf. One of them has been on the shelf for a pretty long time. One used to be on the shelf, and it was lost in the Great Irish Whiskey Disaster back in 2021. And one is brand spanking new. Never been on the shelf before, except for about the past week or two. So, all three of these are low-priced whiskeys. You should be able to find any of these for under $30. In fact, one of these, I think I picked it up for like $17. So, we're going to see exactly where that falls in the taste range for something that's even sub $20. See if it's worth it. So, starting right off the bat is Drunken Sailor. Now, Drunken Sailor was one that I had and lost. This is, well, they call it an Irish-American kind of whiskey. It is a product of Ireland. So it's a blended whiskey. It is 80 proof. Yep, 80 proof. They do not say which distillery produces this whiskey. So it's whiskey that comes over to the States, and then the States at the Drunken Sailor distillery, they bottle it and sell it. So where the whiskey originally comes from, I have not been able to determine. Interesting thing about the bottle, you've got the little Drunken Sailor on there, and of course if you turn it over, it's still a Drunken Sailor, just different look. So if that's something that you all are interested in, that kind of an optical illusion sort of thing. So Anchor Strong, it's got a little sea shanty on the side here too if you want to sing along. So this was low 20s. I believe I picked this up for $23 at a local store. So let's give old Drunken Sailor see how strong it really is. Wow. Wow. All right. If you like your ethanol burn, you're going to love Drunken Sailor. For something that's only 80 proof, yeah, that has got some serious ethanol burn. Yeah, Anchor Strong. Oh yeah, that's Anchor Strong, all right. That'll wake you up and remind you what that whiskey can sometimes have that ethanol burn to it. Flavor-wise, it's okay. I mean, it's nothing that I would write home about. It's a good entry-level whiskey if you don't mind the burn, but I mean, it's got a little bit of flavor to it, a little bit of body. But I gotta tell you, for 80 proof, wow, that's just, yeah, that's up there. So I definitely wouldn't put that on my first choice. You could probably use that as a mixer, though. It'd be an okay for a mixer if you wanted your mixer to have a little bit of kick to it. You know, some of that ethanol, so that you know your mixer does, in fact, have whiskey in it. It might not be bad for that. Maybe even cut with an ice ball. Maybe I'll try that one night. Take my glass and put an ice ball in and see how that works. All right, so next up on the list, we have Glass Manor. This is brand new. It's never been on my shelf before. Picked it up about 2 weeks ago. This is $17, I believe, is what I paid for this. It was way down on the bottom shelf. And I kind of felt like, well, you know, for $17, what the heck? Let's just try it and see what we got. It is also a blended Irish whiskey, or also 80 proof here. And let's see, I can't recall if this said, bottled at the Oak Park Distilling Company, Bardstown, Kentucky. So again, this is going to be one that comes in from Ireland and gets bottled here in the States. Who was the distillery? I don't know. Couldn't find it. So another Irish American whiskey, if you will. So Let's see how old Glass Manor stacks up. Okay, well, now, right off the bat, nowhere near as much ethanol burn in this one as in the Drunken Sailor. So that allows the flavors to come through a little bit more, because you're not getting that super bang right in your face. So, I don't know, the flavors, it's not doing it for me. It almost, to me, seems like it's got a little bit more of the single malt taste to it. Maybe that's what I'm tasting. I'm not getting the sweetness or the spiciness like I would in a single pot still or a single grain. I think the Glass Manor has a little bit more of a single malt taste to it. So if that is something that you like, Glass Manor might not be a bad choice for you if you need just a really inexpensive whiskey. It certainly will not be an everyday whiskey for me. With that flavor profile, it's just not something I like. It's not horrible. There's a couple of bottles back here on the shelf that, wow, I'm not gonna drink those unless I have to. Even Drunken Sailor, even though it's got a nice body to it, a little bit of a nice flavor, the ethanol burn is really strong, but I think if you cut that, at least the flavors are there. But the Glass Manor is just not going to be my profile. I think if you like single malt, you might like the Glass Manor. Is it worth the $17 that I paid for it? Yeah, it probably is. I'm not gonna cry over 17 bucks that I spent on a bottle of whiskey that I may not drink very often. And quick reminder, I love it if you all would just take a second and go down there underneath the video, click the thumbs up if you like it. If you haven't already subscribed, also go down there and subscribe to the channel. Click the bell to be notified when I do new videos. And I'd love to have you all as subscribers, and I'd love to know if you like the video. Helps keep the YouTube algorithms happy when you do that. You can leave me comments. I answer every single comment that you leave on the YouTube page. I do have a Facebook page as well. I have to admit I'm not as thorough in checking it, or as regular as in checking the Facebook page. But if you leave me a comment there, I'll certainly answer you. And as always, shout out to my favorite new vendors. Hard to Find Whiskey. You can find them at htfw.com. All your whiskey needs. If they don't have it, you probably don't need it. At least that's the way I look at it. So stop by and check them out sometime if you're looking for something new and different. All right, last bottle for the evening. We have Clontarf 1014. This also is a blended whiskey. So we've had our blends tonight, gently aged in bourbon barrels. So why 1014? Why do they call this Clontarf 1014? It'll tell you right here on the label. And it's kind of interesting, a little bit of a history lesson. The Battle of Clontarf in 1014, hence the name, Clontarf 1014, High King Brian Boru sent Viking invaders tumbling back into the sea and gave his life to achieve a remarkable victory for the Irish over the fearsome Vikings. Interesting, Boru, I had some Irish vodka that I really enjoyed many years ago, and it was called Boru. And I did not know the meaning of that, so pretty interesting there. So that's why it's Clontarf 1014. Absolutely no distillery information on here at all. So, not really sure. I can go on the web and look. I actually did not. I see that they do have a website on here, Clontarf Whiskey, but I've had this one for a while. Pretty sure I paid in the mid-20s for this, maybe upper 20s, because I bought this back when I was first starting to get into Irish whiskey, and I wasn't paying a lot for any bottle, so I'm going to say it was pretty reasonably priced. It survived the disaster, and I haven't really opened it and tasted it in a while. So let's see what Clontarf 1014 is like. Okay. So again, like the Drunken Sailor, it certainly has quite a bit of ethanol burn to it. And again, I think if you take away that burn, I think the whiskey actually does taste pretty good, like the Drunken Sailor. I think it's unfortunate because both the Drunken Sailor and the Clontarf, I think, have pretty decent taste. No, it's not going to be a Tullamore Dew or, you know, a Bush White, Powers or Roe & Co. None of those. But they're not hateful. They don't have the single malt taste like Glass Manor does. So, you know, if you were asking me to point you in the direction of a whiskey that perhaps you could not spend a lot of money on and still enjoy it, or introduce someone to Irish whiskey, I don't think these two would be it. I think I would still go back to Tullamore Dew, Bush White, because they're a smoother whiskey. They don't have that in-your-face ethanol burn like these two do. If it's someone who likes single malt, sure, go with the Glass Manor. It's not going to be as good a single malt as some of what's behind me, but it's not hateful. These two, what would I say? I would drink them, like I said, I would drink them cut with ice. I could maybe use them for a mixer where some of that burn is lost in the mix. Maybe you like having that really strong burn, and if you do, then these probably aren't bad for you. You know, give them a try. You're only going to be out $20 to $30. So it's not like I'm telling you to try Redbreast or Middleton Very Rare or one of the spots where you're going to drop a pretty penny on that. For me, personally, I'm glad I have them. I'm glad I was able to try them with you. But I'm not going to be everyday whiskeys. And we'll crack them open once in a while. I think an interesting test might be the Drunken Sailor against the Hellcat Maggie back here, which we've looked at. Two really bottom shelf sort of Irish American whiskeys. They both have a little bit of burn to them. So, gee, I don't know which one might taste better. We'll do that in a future video. So, all right, well, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you got something out of it. And, you know, I just love drinking Irish whiskey with you guys. I wish all of you were close to me so we could have a great big whiskey tasting festival together. My goodness, that would be fun. So, until we can do that, though, get out your favorite bottle of Irish whiskey, pour yourself a drop, and enjoy it. Because, my goodness, any reason to have a drop of whiskey is a good reason, right? But do it responsibly so you can be here for the next video, which, by the way, I have it on very good authority that the next video we're going to be adding a new member to the Hyde family. I was able to pick up a bottle of Hyde that I don't already have. So we'll have that out here and we'll give it a try together. See what it's like. Until we meet again, I want you to be well and be safe. All right? Sláinte. Bye now.